You've probably seen a lot of videos teaching you how to win arguments with a narcissist. But let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what's the real purpose of teaching them a lesson? Do you want them to realize their mistakes and change? Do you want them to treat you better? Or do you simply want revenge for the hurt they have caused? The harsh reality is, narcissists will never truly take responsibility for their actions. They lack empathy. They cannot understand the pain of others. No matter how many arguments you win, they won't change. To turn the tables in arguments with a narcissist, you need to understand their rules of the game. Why do they enjoy arguing? What are they thinking when they start a war? The answer lies in the supply for their narcissistic ego. Unlike normal people, narcissists don't argue to solve problems or seek understanding. They crave chaos, because in that chaos they can control and manipulate you. Every negative emotion you have, every intense reaction you give, is fuel for their distorted ego. It helps them feel powerful, valued, and above all, able to dominate you. So, when you understand this rule of the game, you'll know how to break it. You will no longer be the prey in their game. That's why you should watch this video to the end. You'll discover the most effective methods for dealing with narcissists in any argument. And at the end, I'll reveal a brand new trick that will help you turn the tables and make them give up. Before we start, give us a boost by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Together, we will build a healing community and share methods for dealing with toxic relationships. And if you are also dealing with the manipulation of a narcissist, comment with the number 5 below so I know. One crucial thing you need to know is that in any argument, narcissists don't care about the content, the truth, or the reasoning. Whatever the topic, their ultimate goal is to evoke emotions from you, make you lose your temper, and fall into a state of helplessness. They enjoy seeing you go crazy, lose control, because then they feel powerful and able to assert their dominance. They will use every trick to annoy you, provoke you, and add fuel to the fire of the argument. And when you fall into the trap, you are inadvertently giving them the key to manipulate and control you. The stronger you react, the more satisfied they feel, and the more confident they become in their ability to control you. Remember, in the eyes of a narcissist, the truth, reason, or your feelings don't matter. They only care about satisfying their selfish ego, and you are just a puppet in their game. So, no matter what arguments you present, it won't stop the narcissist from continuing to attack with unreasonable and cruel comments. They will intentionally touch your deepest wounds, the points they know will cause the most pain, to brutally provoke you. This is how arguments with narcissists usually go. They will say or do exactly what can hurt you the most, like neglecting you, slandering you about things you never did, or bringing up past memories that make you angry. They will attack your biggest fears and insecurities, regardless of whether this is relevant to the topic being argued or not. You and I both know that narcissists will always play the victim and derail the conversation, turning everything into an injustice against them. You cannot win an argument with a narcissist because they will never let that happen. Their ego is too big and too fragile. Therefore, the first piece of advice, the only way to win is to not participate in their game. We need to understand that when we get into a conflict with a narcissist, it's a lose-lose situation. If you participate, you have put yourself in a vortex of chaos. But if you withdraw, they will accuse you of abandonment, accuse you of being heartless and not listening. This is a no-win situation. Narcissists always need emotional supply from your reaction. If they can't provoke you, they will move on to find a new target, starting another argument with the reason you never cared about me, you don't love me, and the proof is that you don't stand still for them to insult you. What terrifies them most is not that you yell at them, but that you no longer care enough to argue with them. So what will happen to them? What will happen to all that ego, pride, and superiority when you turn your back? That's when they really lose their minds. That's why I say it's better not to participate, because I don't want their narcissistic rage to be triggered and you get hurt by it. If you must engage in an argument with a narcissist, remind them that you will only do so if they agree to certain rules and boundaries. Imagine this: a narcissist is like a parasite that feeds on your emotional reactions. But what if you could turn the tables? What if you could deprive them of the emotional meal they crave? This is where the next strategy comes into play. Become ice cold and stick to the boundaries you create. Sounds harsh, right? But in this context, it doesn't mean you have to be cruel or distant. Instead, it's about emotional detachment to protect your own peace. It doesn't mean you become emotionless, but you choose to invest your emotions wisely. Imagine your emotions as a currency. Would you give your money to a scammer? Of course not. So why would you give your emotions to a narcissist who will only abuse them? When you become emotionally cold, you are cutting off their supply, taking away the power they have over you. Without an emotional response from you, the narcissist becomes useless. This is the first line of defense in the fight against narcissism. You have to go into a conversation with a narcissist expecting nothing. Don't expect them to have any new insights, and don't expect them to be kind to you. If you go into the conversation anticipating that they will still be their unpleasant selves, then you won't be fazed when you start making your points. You have to get to a point where you no longer care whether the narcissist understands your feelings or not. Your biggest mistake is sitting there trying to show the narcissist how much they have hurt you. This will only be like you're banging your head against a wall. You should only engage in conversation with a narcissist when it is absolutely necessary, such as when they are a family member, boss, or co-parent. And when you do engage, you must be brief and not let emotions dominate. Say what you need directly. For example, I need you to do the dishes, or you are making things difficult for me right now. I need you to stop. Don't expect that even these smallest requests will be met. Can you get to the point where you don't care at all how the narcissist responds? No matter what they say, it won't affect you at all. In my experience, if you have to deal with a narcissist, you have three options. Whenever they disrespect you, instead of continuing to argue or defend yourself, firmly say, I'm going to leave this conversation until you can talk to me respectfully. Then you need to leave immediately. This is not only a way to preserve your self-respect, but also the safest strategy to avoid the emotional or even physical abuse they can inflict. I recommend this method because continuing to confront the narcissist only gets you caught up in a pointless argument where you are always the loser. Leaving the conversation is the only way to protect yourself and maintain healthy personal boundaries. If you can't leave, try the second method. Pretend you are a grey rock. If someone yells at a rock, it will just sit still like a rock. No matter what horrible things they say, you just need to reply, okay. By doing so, you are winning. When the narcissist ignores you, for example, by not texting back for days and you sit there texting, why are you being so cruel? I've always been nice to you. That's exactly what they want. They want to provoke. They want to elicit a reaction from you. When you completely ignore them and only respond with a word or a short sentence, it drives them crazy. They feel unimportant. But more importantly for you, it frees you from their mental torture, and that's how you win. One important thing I recommend is, when you encounter a negative reaction from a narcissist, don't rush to defend yourself. The more you defend yourself, the more ammunition you give them to continue the attack. Narcissists will take advantage of every explanation you give to maintain their attack. So when they accuse you of something, insult you, or deliberately manipulate you, remember that what they really want is an emotional reaction from you. Next time they attack you, instead of getting angry or trying to defend yourself, try agreeing with them. For example, if they say that you are disorganized and always messy, you can calmly reply, yeah, maybe you're right. I can definitely improve my organization. This agreement may not always be appropriate, depending on the situation, so you need to use your judgment. However, the idea here is that when you agree with the narcissist, you confuse them because they don't get the reaction they expect. If you remember that their insults are just meant to provoke you rather than relate to the real issue, you can learn to react more wisely, conserve energy, and avoid unnecessary frustration. Next, to develop your career and passions, you need to rediscover the inspiration and fire within yourself. I understand that sometimes this can be very difficult. Even small things like brushing your teeth become a challenge. But the important thing is that you need to gradually reactivate your inner system. First, stabilize your life, then gradually explore and develop yourself. This process doesn't happen automatically. You have to put in the effort. Narcissists want you to be small. They want you to live on the little they provide. They need you in a low position so they can feel superior. Therefore, your task is to become stronger, to discover your abilities and potential. Finally, but equally importantly, develop your relationships when you are ready. Many self-help programs encourage isolation and excessive independence, but humans are not designed to live alone. Looking at human history, we have always existed in communities. Our nervous systems are co-regulated by those around us. For example, when a mother holds her child, the mother's body naturally helps regulate the child's nervous system. Just by the warmth and comfort of the mother, the child's anxiety will disappear, and the baby feels safe. This is how we receive safety cues, and our nervous system activates the social engagement system. We are designed to thrive in community, but that doesn't mean you have to go to parties or noisy gatherings. What I recommend is that you take time for yourself to rediscover yourself, but don't completely isolate yourself. It's too easy to get comfortable in your comfort zone and think you don't need anyone. I understand that feeling because I've been through it myself. You may be afraid to trust others, and that's perfectly normal. But when you're ready, step out and connect with people in similar situations, such as those who have survived abusive relationships. Start with low-risk, simple, and enjoyable relationships. This is the first step for you to gradually open up and regain balance in your life. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully, sharing about how to argue with narcissists has given you more knowledge and confidence to protect yourself in toxic relationships. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you find this video helpful, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and family to spread the information and together build a strong healing community. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next part of this topic, as well as other interesting content coming soon. I will try to answer all your comments and questions, so feel free to share your thoughts and ideas. Thank you for being a part of this community. See you in the next videos.